Got some spooky stories from the dark side of podcasting. Hello, everybody. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and this is Legit Podcast Pro. Welcome back. Today, we're diving into the shadows that are lurking beneath the shiny exterior of the podcasting world. Now, these aren't your average oops kinds of, I missed a copyright license kinds of stories. These are chilling tales of lawsuits, takedowns, and reputational ruin, the legal kinds of nightmares that keep podcasters awake at night. So dim the lights, grab a pumpkin spice latte, and prepare for this Halloween edition of Legit Podcast Pro, where we're featuring some spooky tales from the dark side of podcasting. Welcome, come on inside, and let's talk about the first case we're going to talk about is the phantom plagiarism, crime junkie, and disappearing episode. Picture this, a chart-topping podcast, fans eagerly tuning in for their weekly dose of true crime, and then suddenly entire episodes vanish without a trace. Well, the reason is accusations of plagiarism, haunting crime junkie hosts Ashley Flowers and Britt Prawat. Sources claim that they borrowed stories from other podcasts without giving proper credit, like ghosts wiped from the digital realm. Those episodes just disappeared, leaving behind a chilling reminder. Fail to leave credit for your sources can be the kiss of death. Next up, we have the tale of the stalker, Audio Chuck, and the Blake Liebel case. In this next tale, lawyer Adam Tenser found himself at the center of a frightening defamation storm. A podcast about the grisly Blake Liebel murder case portrayed Tenser as something he never was, a stalker. Furiously, he filed a lawsuit against Audio Chuck, claiming that they dragged his reputation through the mud. The lesson here, inaccurate storytelling is more than a ghost story. It can turn into a legal horror show. The Music of the Damned, the Americana music show versus the RIAA. Beware the curse of unlicensed music. The Americana music show learned this the hard way when the Recording Industry Association of America slapped them with takedown notices. The podcast went dark, vanishing as quickly as the ghost at dawn. Their crime was using copyrighted music without permission. It's a spectral warning to all. Without licenses, your podcast could disappear into the abyss. The next story, the ghost of Satoshi Nakamoto, Craig Wright versus Peter McCormack. In this eerie story, we have Bitcoin's enigmatic creator, maybe. Craig Wright claims that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, but podcaster Peter McCormack wasn't buying it, and on his show, McCormack publicly called Wright a fraud, so Wright sued for defamation. The outcome? Even words spoken in skepticism can summon a legal monster. Next up, we have The Vanishing Witness. In this, it's the Son of a Hitman case on Spotify. When Spotify aired Son of a Hitman, it was a podcast delving into the Charles Harrelson murder case. Yes, Harrelson, Woody's father. They included an interview with a key witness, but only to use it in ways that witness never agreed to. The podcast implied that she'd had a role in framing Harrelson, and she sued for defamation. The court dismissed the case, but the story is a haunting reminder that we must use the interviews we record with care and get that legal release signed so that you can't find yourself on the wrong side of litigation like this, or else those legal spirits may be awakened. And we have the plagiarist's curse, the Morpodden story. This comes from across the Atlantic. The Swedish podcast Morpodden faced a grim fate. They had plagiarized parts of a true crime book by Lars Olsen, leading to fines and a tarnished reputation. Their once popular show became a legal cautionary tale, proving that copyright infringement can unleash a curse worse than any kind of haunting. And now we have the Phantom soundtrack. iBus Media's musical misstep. One podcaster's attempt to use music without a license. Another legal nightmare. iBus Media found themselves entangled in an infringement lawsuit, the likes of which they'd never seen. This proves that even a few seconds of unauthorized music can awaken angry spirits in the form of lawyers. So don't let the siren song of unlicensed music drag your podcast to the depths. And in our final tale, we have the hidden threat. Podcast harassment gone too far. A podcaster learned the hard way that not all words spoken in jest remain harmless. After making what was intended to be a lighthearted threat on the show, the podcaster was hit with a harassment lawsuit, a chilling reminder that even playful comments could stir forces not to be trifled with. So, what have we learned from all of these eerie tales? Well, whether it's a forgotten license or a careless insult or a misleading story, the legal side of the podcasting world is not to be taken lightly. Every podcaster should keep their wits about them lest they end up in a real-life horror story. So until next time, stay spooky, stay safe, and most importantly, stay legal. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer. I'll see you again next time.